Hello everyone! Before getting into the commentary video, I wanted to mention some updates happening over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. At the $1 tier, you'll get access to the Angel Cake Discord, as well as your name at the end of every one of my videos. At the $2 tier, you'll get that and a monthly video of me reviewing every reality show I watch for a given month, as well as access to me doing the Rachel Robinson's The Challenge Workout series. In the $3 tier, you'll get access to weekly lives where I talk about The Challenge and other reality TV related news. Finally, in the $5 tier, you'll get all the exclusive content I mentioned already, as well as access to the Challenge Rewatch series. All the commentary videos up to rewatch anytime to anyone signed up to this tier specifically. Also added to this tier is a monthly challenge exclusive video. Here are some of the video topics that'll be Patreon exclusives. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the content. It's August 3rd, 2016. The 14th episode of The Challenge's Rivals 3 season is wrapping up. The season has come down to a single significant moment in the show's history. But what's going on? How did we get here? Now, to understand the full extent of how big this moment is, we're gonna need to run it back. At this moment, TJ and the finalists are standing on a mountain in Argentina. They just finished a tough finals after an even tougher season. Let's take a look at who's here. We have the rookies Devin and Cheyenne, the most unlikely pair to be standing here. Not because they are rookies, but because they were eliminated earlier in the season. The two young Are You the One rivals found themselves in the first elimination of the season, facing off against Jessica and Johnny. They lost, and seemingly, they were on their way home. That is, until all the disqualifications. In episode 2, we saw Leroy get medically disqualified for having a pinched nerve in his back, sending both him and Avery home. Then Brandon quit because he missed his girlfriend. He and Brianna caught the same flight out of Mexico. And then in episode 6, Thomas and Simone left due to a medical emergency happening back home. The challenge was losing teams, and fast. So to help with the season's runtime, a team was brought back, and that team was Devin and Cheyenne. Now, coming back into the challenge game after being eliminated can come with being an easy target, and the duo was nominated. A lot. But they had a stream of luck helping them get here. They were set up to go into 6 eliminations and were able to pull a white skull every time to keep them safe on their way to making the finals. But the finals showed you need more than luck, and the pair ended the season in 3rd place. Still pretty solid. Next up, we have Jenna and Vince. Both relatively new players to the challenge. Jenna and Vince's rivalry started the season prior in season 27. Both didn't see eye to eye. Also, Jenna thought Vince was kinda greasy. They were helped in good part by Vince's cousin, Johnny Bananas. Speaking of whom, the third and final pair was Bananas and Sarah. Now, Bananas and Sarah met back in season 18, The Ruins. Sarah was a rookie on the Challengers team, and she had a crush on Kenny, which led to her spending a lot of time around him and his friends, aka Johnny. From then on, the two were in lockstep, always could count on each other. But as I mentioned earlier, this is Rivals 3. How did these two go from being friends to now rivals? Well, for that answer, we're gonna have to go back to season 26. Both Sarah and Bananas played on the season and planned on looking out for each other. That is until Bananas and his partner Nany were eliminated midway through the season. Sarah felt her and Jordan needed to gain some numbers. They made an alliance to work with Wes and Teresa, the two players directly involved with their alliance members leaving, but you know, a game is a game. Sarah and Jordan were doing quite well, until they got last place in episode 8. They faced off against Zach and John A in the Hammer at Home elimination, and they won. I feel that elimination got them on the right track late in the game, gave them some momentum heading towards the end game. Something else that helped their momentum was Bananas and Nany winning back into the game. Battle of the Exes had a Redemption House style twist called Battle of the Exiled. Bananas and Nany put together an impressive winning streak to win themselves back into the main house. Sarah hopped off the West wagon and got back into the banana boat. They won the next daily to help focus on getting Wes and Teresa eliminated. I'm sure heading into the final daily, Bananas and Nany felt good about their chances of making the finals. As long as they didn't come in last place and the rookies Jenna and Jay didn't win, Bananas was looking good with his two best friends Leroy and Sarah there with him. Sarah and Jordan won the last daily called Don't Let Me Down to punch their tickets to the finals. Leroy and Nia were going directly into the elimination because they got last place, and now the decision was all Sarah and Jordan to send in Banani or the rookies into the final elimination. Now, instead of going the easy friendship route, Sarah wanted to make a move, a potential game-winning move. She wanted to send her friend Johnny Bananas into the elimination. To understand Sarah's decision, we need to first understand Sarah's challenge journey up to this point. In her first 7 seasons, Sarah had some success making finals, but not much else past that. In her rookie season, The Ruins, she and Kellyanne lost to the overpowering champions team. Fresh Me Too, she was a casualty of the West vs. Kenny feud with an early exit. She made the finals again in season 20, but was medically DQ'd in the finals. Hubris was Sarah's downfall in Rivals 1. Tough breaks with her poor partnerships led to 2 more DQs in X's and Rivals 2, and her team makeup in Battle of the Seasons kept her from being a contender to win. Sarah's whole motivation of being on the Real World was to get on the challenge, and after years of competing, she had little to show for her efforts but a handful of final appearances. But in this moment, she felt that she had a chance of breaking through to finally getting her first challenge win, and the only thing standing in her way was a 5-time champ and a pair who won 4 redemption games to get here. Sarah did send Bananas and Nany into the elimination where they lost, and Sarah and Jordan went on to win the season. And of course, that made Sarah and Johnny's friendship strained. But hey, here they are, standing on top of a mountain together, being named winners of the Challenge Rivals 3. But getting to this point was a bit of a struggle. Bananas and Sarah were leagues ahead of pretty much everyone on Rivals 3. They won 4 daily challenges, and their alliance won 2 more for good measure. Game-wise, the pair were unstoppable, but personally, they had a lot of work to go through. Over the course of the season, Bananas would bring up his distrust of Sarah and play up how she blindsided him in season 26. Sarah would try her best to reassure Johnny she fully had his back, but it took some time, and it seemed like everything took a positive turn after their lone elimination win coming late in the season. So that's it, right? This is a story of 2 people who lost their friendship coming back to being best buddies as they're both being crowned Challenge champions. Well, not so much. You see, these Rival 3 finals were ran a little bit differently than, say, a normal finals. At the beginning of the finals, TJ stated in the rules that not only would players be competing against other teams, but they would also be playing against their own team members. Everyone would accrue individual points. The player in each team with the highest amount of points would get to decide whether they share the prize money with their partner or take it all. This added element kinda threw a wrench into the whole finals. Sarah became worried Bananas, if given the opportunity, would decide to keep all the money for himself. At various points in the final, Sarah would try to talk with Bananas and lock in an agreement to split the money regardless of whoever scored the most individual points. And at first, Bananas would try to play coy, telling her to stay focused on the finals in total, but eventually a sort of understanding was made. The points seemed close going into the sleeping portion, which had one teammate stand on a stump while the other teammate got to go to sleep in a tent. Sarah wasn't feeling well and lost track of her sleeping, and Bananas gladly stood on the stump knowing this was his chance of pulling away from Sarah in individual points. And it worked. Johnny not only locked in first place, but also he locked in being the highest point scorer in his pair, leaving him with the sole decision on whether he wanted to share or steal. The other 2 teams each shared the money with their partners. Would Johnny do the same? I mean, he couldn't have gotten to this point without her, right? But would he look to get back at her after double-crossing him in season 26? Welcome to one of the biggest moments in the challenge's history.
So I'm gonna go ahead and take the money and run, teacher.